In land-scarce Singapore, building high may be a necessity, but increasingly, it is also becoming a symbol of affluence and luxury. As we continue to build upwards, architects are finding new ways of injecting glamour and aesthetics into condominium living. Condominiums are a dime a dozen in Singapore. However, architect MKPL feels that the design of high-rise buildings can sometimes be stale because of technical restrictions.
I think at the end of the day that all residential projects in Singapore are commercially driven projects. There's a certain value attached by the developer to sell every square metre in a project. So because of this economics-driven pressure, there's a pressure on architects to maximise the saleable space, which is usually the private spaces, as opposed to those social spaces.
Rising high into the sky with its lush greenery, Sky Park is just as its name suggests, a park in the sky. The driving principle behind this condominium was the need to reconnect with nature.
We want Singaporeans to rediscover the joy of living in a tropical environment. For example, in this project, we hope people would really come out to use the garden, take a meals, meet your friends, have a party, chat, and make use of it as like an outdoor living room. So it is something that we constantly try to infuse into our project.
However, this was not an easy feat for the architects as they had to convince several of their collaborators to come on board for the project.
It is definitely a big challenge for us to convince the structural engineer to come up with very light design so that all these gardens look like they're floating in the sky. It wasn't easy, but the engineer was willing to take the extra mile, look into it. I think we are very fortunate. URA is supportive. I think URA, they are quite receptive to new designs. Of course, the designs that comply with the rules and regulations. We have supportive clients who have the trust in us, and also engineers who are very good collaborative partners who support our designs.
After this stage, the architects were able to get to work, and they were committed to fulfilling their vision of bungalows in the sky through the inclusion of a lush garden on every level.
Singapore has a very nice tropical weather. We have all this lush greenery around us. It's something that we want to take advantage of this and put all these elements into an unlikely situation, because I think we have the challenge of a high-rise, high-density urban environment in Singapore, and how we can retain greenery that is usually only associated with countries with large expanse of land.
With this idea as their blueprint, the architects sought to make their dream a reality.
You walk through a garden to enter your apartment, so if you think carefully, that is quite a unique concept for high-rise living. So for this particular Sky Park, what you see from the external part of the building is literally encapsulated by gardens. And if you start to think about what it will look like years to come, this building literally becomes more and more lush as the plants grow and mature. So it's a concept that just gets better,
The layout of the apartment allows homeowners to take advantage of the unique views afforded by the abundant greenery. From the dining room to the bathrooms, different areas were situated in strategic locations.
the bathtub of the master bedroom to be in a semi-outdoor condition. So when one is enjoying his nice bath in the tub, he can actually look down at the garden. And because of the location of this intermediate deck, the privacy of the person who's using the bath can be maintained because of the large planting.
The double volume spaces of the living room allow for luxurious living and dining spaces and a relaxing ambiance.
Space and volume, it is something that very few apartments here enjoy. I think over here, the idea that you can have a double-story space in the form of a garden that your apartment can open out to with a double-story living room is something that very few apartments in Singapore really can command.
To complement the fluid layout of the apartment, the architects wanted to ensure that wind was able to circulate freely and cool the interiors naturally.
We made sure that the apartment is designed to have cross ventilation, meaning when the wind blows in this direction, it can literally go through your house in another direction. Now, this is not easy to achieve in most apartment design in Singapore. We designed a skin that is almost like a fabric that we drape over it. So while it allows views out, the sun angle study shows that we are able to cut out the sun that goes into the building.
However, it was not just the apartments that incorporated elements of elevation. Sky Park's unique cantilevered gym gives one a sense of floating over the ground.
The site is very tight, so we've decided to locate the gym over existing driveway, and then it's also cantilevered out over the driveway. So when you look from far, it looks as though it is an object floating in sky.
MKPL wanted to create a tower of lush greenery, and they achieved that with great success. An efficient use of space and a unique spin on outdoor living has resulted in the creation of an eye-catching condominium that will only get better with age. And they hope more architects think outside the box when designing condominiums.
Sky Park is quite unusual, quite rare for a developer to buy into this concept, because actually those sky gardens actually, they cost money to build, and in this case we're building sky gardens every alternate floor. I think at the end of the day, people appreciate their living environment more when you have space, which equates to time, which equates to a certain sense of serenity, a place to relax, a place to sit and dwell, somewhere to hang out and talk with people. So I think fundamentally people understand what a good design of space is, and they know it when they see it. So I think that's something that I think almost everyone can appreciate.
Sky Park has successfully developed and executed an ambitious concept, bungalows in the sky. Defying conventional restrictions and championing communal spaces has allowed MKPL to take the idea of green spaces to an elevated level.